Well, Halloween season is just right around the corner. As you know, I just saw the news on KTLA where the lovely Megan Tellis was at the Dark Harbor, right? I guess Dark Harbor is opening today too, because I know Not Scary Farm is opening today. So, like, I saw her there at the Dark Harbor. I guess they're premiering it tonight. So, I already know Universal started last week, and I know Disneyland started in the last week of August, right? So it's just right around the corner. I mean, Halloween season is just coming up pretty soon. I think it's starting tonight. Hell, I remember back then, and I don't know this to be true, but for all I remember, all the Halloween stuff started like right at the end of September, or just I think right at the start of October. But nowadays, man, considering that you have a couple of theme parks that are already decked out for Halloween, like Universal, like I said, and Disneyland, which literally started at the last week of August. I mean, man, it's making me feel so excited. I couldn't help but to smile. just looking at Dark Harbor, and it just makes me want to talk about in this particular topic, my experience at the 17th door. Now, it's not just, specifically, I want to talk about, my experience at the one in Fullerton, which I did in 2017, and the one I did 2 years ago, the one by the Buena Park Mall, or in the Buena Park Mall, rather. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I mean, both were really, really scary. They're very thrilling, right? Everything you would expect in a very extremely haunted attraction like that, especially as far as the rooms are concerned. But if I have to pick which one got a better feel for the experience to be that scary, I'm gonna say the one in Fullerton. Yeah. The reason why I say the one in Fullerton is because it was taking place at the back of the warehouse, or excuse me, not the warehouse, the back of the 99-cent store, where was formerly then was the 99-cent store. It's no longer there, unfortunately, since all the 99-cent stores are gone, right? But yeah, it used to take place back then when me and Eugene went for the first time, our first experience together at the 17th door. It was taking place at the back of the store, which is basically the warehouse, right? So yeah, the warehouse. It just the fact that it took place in the warehouse gave the feel of that entire attraction a much more horrific feel, because of the fact that it is taken at the warehouse, and you just feel like you're in a dungeon. That's the impression I got. And between and it's much darker, like every single room, it's just much darker in there. You know what I'm saying? It's much darker than it is in at the one in the Buena Park Mall. And I mean, to me, it's just I think in comparing the two settings, it's better to see a 17th door in a separate building, and not really like by the mall and all that, I mean, I still got I still got the, you know, the horrific haunted experience in the mall, but I just think it's better in a separate building, and which is in this case it's the store. You know, I think I liked it better when it was at the you know, in the back of a store, like 99 cents. The fact that it was taking place in a warehouse, I think a warehouse setting in general gives it a much more haunted, horrific feel. Like I could, you know, I could reference the filming locations of Hostel and some other really scary movies. So if you're thinking about just those scenes where you're kidnapped and, you know, you see your life in danger, when you're in a dungeon and, you know, you can see your life flashing ahead of you when you know that that you're pretty much screwed, right? You're thinking of, like, because I know the Hostel, especially 1 and 2, like with their setting, it's supposed to be like you have that Holocaust based movie. You know, there is that you know, it's kind of like that. You know, that is taking place in it's in an old factory or like a really old retirement home or something like that. I'm trying to remember because I watched the behind the scenes of Hostel, and I think the filming locations of those really horrific scenes in that quote unquote the factory. I think it was taking place in a really old, like a super old retirement home or something like that. I just know it's in a very old place where it's just so like an abandoned home or something. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, that's what I liked about the 17th door here. The 17th door in Fullerton, where it was taking place once again at the back of the store. The fact that it's in a warehouse, it gives the entire attraction a more like a horrific feel. And yeah, it is much like the rooms, like every single one of them I went to, they feel much darker, and you really feel like you're in a dungeon. And I feel like there's just so much more to it than the one in the Buena Park Mall. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't, you know, that the one in Buena Park Mall is not as scary. Of course, it was still extremely scary, you know, by 17 door standards. But the fact that that you have it like spirit that me and Eugene experienced it in the warehouse setting, it just feels scarier. It just feels more scary in that the rooms I remember were much darker, and there was just so much more, you know, there were more it was just more intense for me, and that there was more that I experienced that I didn't at the mall 2 years ago. I think there was just so much more to it in the one in Fullerton that, you know, I just feel like that one was much scarier. Not to say that the one in the Buena Park Mall is not that scary, but, you know, I just get a better, you know, I just get a more scary feel at the one in Fullerton, just because you have it in another building, you know, that is just away from any mall or, you know, just any commercial plaza, or, you know, just the fact that it is in its own. Well, I mean, technically the 99 cent store is part of the plaza, but when you have it at the back of the store, like the warehouse, you know, I think the setting is just it was just a better choice as far as you know, the feels for, you know, a really, really haunted experience, right? So to me, I thought the one in Fullerton still, to me, it was it was a much scarier experience. It was a more intense experience, and considering all the rooms were, pretty much like the fact that you're inside the warehouse, for this entire attraction, it makes it feel like you're really in, like you're really in a dungeon. Like you're really just, at one point I almost feel like I was trapped when I got into those, when we got to the part where all the jail cells are. Like it was, so some of those rooms, even that one, were pitch black, dude. It was nuts. So I'm telling you, dude, I think it's just better that it's in a warehouse building. Plus, like the one in the mall, yeah, I mean it's still scary, but the fact that it's in the mall, I mean I can still hear a bit of the noises, like just even while I was of the mall, while I was in the, when me and Eugene, because me and Eugene also did the one in the at the Buena Park Mall, and it was I can still hear a bit of the noises of the of the mall, whereas in the one in the warehouse, you literally just hear nothing around you because it is inside the warehouse, and it's when you just get a quiet feel, and unless you're working, you got the music on, right? This is I think you just get a more haunted feel, and I like it. I like it that the setting is either is in an abandoned place, where an old building that's not used for such a long time, even if it's like an old factory, an abandoned factory, or like a warehouse like that. I think a warehouse would just be, to me, in my opinion, the best setting for any haunted place, right? If you're talking about a place like what is that one called? I can't name it from the top of my head. I just know 17 door. What was it? What was that other one that I did a long time ago? Sinister Point. There you go. Yeah, Sinister Point was also in the warehouse. So, yeah, dude, it's. I think overall, my experience in Fullerton was just more scary than the one. Like, I just get a more horrific feel, and a more intense feel of the attraction than I did in the one in Buena Park. Not to say that the one in Buena Park is not as scary. Yes, it was still scary, but the one thing that was just so funny to see in there was just one of the monsters just literally like showing us like all the chickens. There was like chickens in that room. Well, like probably all the chickens or roosters from Knott's Berry Farm. You know what I'm saying? They probably picked all those chickens from Knott's over there, I would think, but but yeah, I think the one in Fullerton was just, it just felt more like a real, like a real horror movie. If you're talking about a movie like Hostel or Saw, or even a Terrifier, if you're in the real dungeon, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, am I gonna go back this year to do a 17 door? I recommend it, because I know this month has just been really tough on me, and I think like just to see Dark Harbor already opening, and just to see, like anytime I see anything scary, like on the news, or just anything scary, or like anything Halloween, like the neighborhoods I just passed by, I think that immediately starts to give me so much excitement. And I know I'm still working on this Halloween project in my backyard. So yeah, man, I gotta get that going, because I know a lot of things have just gotten in my way this month, and I just really want to focus on that at this point, because trust me, next week's gonna get crazy, and I really want to start I just want to start getting a lot, as much done as possible. I really want to start earlier than I did last year. So anyways, That's all I gotta say, man. Catch you guys later.